Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So this is kind of a, not a running versus video, but an opinion versus video. These three are the triangle sanders that are used in multi-craft or oscillating tools. Okay, like your RIdgids, your Mastercrafts, etc., etc. Okay. Now this one here is the one that came with my RIdgid 18-volt set. Be the same one that would come with their 12-volt, I'd imagine. Mastercraft one, of course, I bought separately for about 13, 14 bucks. And then I bought this RoK one for $1.99 at Home Hardware. I thought, well, you know what, for 2 bucks, I mean, you know, and I was almost going to take the Mastercraft one back, thinking, well, geez, you know, I mean, I could buy like 3 or 4 of these RoKs for the, you know. But anyway, so I'm actually very happy I did not take back the Mastercraft one. One thing I will give you a warning of when you're using multi-crafter tools like these is you do have to let the tool do some work. I mean, there is, you know, a little bit of pressure you got to apply, but you don't go as it's running type of thing, right? So I kind of learned a little bit of a lesson with the RIdgid one, and it wasn't so much of a pressure thing, it was the amount of time I was running it, because, you know, friction, sandpaper, heat, yeah, things can happen, right? So you don't want to go too overly extended of time sanding something. They're for light duty jobs, they're not for doing anything majorly heavy. But all I'm doing is cleaning up, you know, pieces of wood like this, you know, and primarily using 80 grit for that, though. And I'm doing some smooth finishing. But with the 80 grit, of course, it's a little bit more coarser, so I'm, you know, making it work more. But I spent a little bit too much time, and this is kind of what happens, is you start to melt stuff, okay? So this is something that I would say that the RIdgid one is actually pretty good, because it holds the sandpaper on there really well. You know, very impressed with that. It's too bad I couldn't get another RIdgid one, but I can't find anybody who sells the RIdgid triangle. Yeah, so watch the amount of run time and pressure at the same time, but mainly the run time too. You really got to be concerned about that when you've got friction things going on with rubber versus sandpaper, because this is just a rubber pad, and you know it's going, you know, at a million miles an hour there. Now this is also an aluminum base, which that really didn't thrill me. I'd like to see RIdgid do that in a steel base. Now the Mastercraft one, like I said, I picked that up for about 13, 14 bucks at Canadian Tire. And it's a direct fit, no adapter required, which is awesome, you know, so you don't have to use your adapter that came with your RIdgid one or your other tool to use Mastercraft one. And that's cool. Now, the side effect to this is the glue that they use to hold the pad on, it let go. I was like, bam, and there goes the pad, flew right off. I'm like, what the hell? I just paid 13, 14 bucks for this thing. I was like, this is garbage. You know, so I thought, well, you know, it holds the sandpaper on there good. You know, it's reasonably good. I have no qualms with that. However, yeah, that sucked. So I'm like, wait, I have a fix for this. So I have a little tiny tube of crazy glue that you get from the dollar store. It comes in little tubes like this. You get like a little bottle of 4 of them for like $1. And I emptied the whole bottle all over the entire plate. Put the pad back on, nice and even, and then I sat a big, huge weight on it. It must weigh about a good 40, 50 pound weight right in the middle of that sucker for about an hour or so. And then I let it sit for a few hours before attempting to use it, and I've beaten on it since, and it's staying together. So the only side effect to this one is you gotta watch that glue, because it was a pretty crappy glue job they did. Might not happen to every one of them from Mastercraft, but certainly did to this one. But yes, it does work well. It holds the sand on well. I like that it's raised up, and it's got a steel plate on it, which is good because it's durable, and I have magnets, actually, that hold the tool in place on my RIdgid toolless head multi-crafter oscillating tool. And so I kind of like the metal stuff, you know. It's less hassle. Even on a Mastercraft machine, it'd be good if they put magnets on them, on the Mastercraft ones, because it's such a pain in the neck, okay, to put tools on and off, especially with any multi-crafter tool really that has no magnets. Anyways, moving on, the RoK. Saw these. Now this is also another one where it's a steel plate, so it works good with the magnets that are on my job mate, so I can just, you know, get it on and off there and don't have to worry about it dropping off. No adapter required again, which is great. It's kind of the same sort of idea as the RIdgid one, very similar actually. Now what I don't like about this one is the holder for the sandpaper. This side of it, okay, so your hook side, too fine of hooks. And so the sandpaper, of course I'm using the Mastercraft stuff because it's the cheapest I can get. You know, I'm not going to pay an arm and a leg for sandpaper if I don't have to, right? Because Dremel brand is like 20 bucks for 18 or $10 for 18 from Canadian Tire. So I'm thinking I get two for the price of one at Canadian Tire, so I get twice as much sandpaper. But yes, very bad hook system on this, just garbage. Throw it away. It's junk. Now that doesn't mean all their tools are junk. I'm going to try a few more of their tools out. But as far as that one goes, total garbage. You know, the sandpaper won't stay on there at all, really. It just flies off, and yeah, it's not that great. So anyways, Mastercraft hook and loop system is awesome. Keeps the paper on RIdgid. Hook and loop system is really good. It looks like it's about as fine as the RoK, but it really isn't. It's actually a little more coarser than the RoK is. So it does hold really well. Now one thing I'll also mention too is with these type of heads for sandpaper, for the triangle stuff, because these are the only heads I've seen for sandpaper, the paper, if you want to change to a different grit, don't try putting it back on the last one you just finished using, because it's not going to stick very well the second time around. So you got to kind of watch that, you know. But if you do it right, you can probably get a little bit more use out of it. But try and use up the sandpaper disc you're working with, and then go to another one. So my solution, I think, which would be best, would be to get two of these heads. You know, one with the one grit that you use the most for teardown with quick, which would be 80 grit, and then have another head for your 120 and 220 stuff, or one head for each, and then you never have to worry about it. I mean, these heads, even for the price of this, it was pretty good price because it's really good, well built. It's good quality. It's just that that glue was crap. So I'm probably going to buy a couple more of these Mastercraft ones. And I'll just, you know, in advance, try them out, and if they fly off, well then fine, I'll just crazy glue them on, because since the crazy glue went on, I can run the crap out of this and it ain't coming off. So, in total, we have these three. RIdgid one, really good, even though it's aluminum. It's gonna have a good lifespan to it, but not as long as it should. And the paper does stick well. Mastercraft paper sticks really well. Just watch if you have a glue issue. If you don't, well then, hey, it's a great buy even for the price. And it is steel, which is better than having aluminum like RIdgid did. And of course the RoK, stay away from the RoK. The RoK is absolute and total garbage. But if you must try it, okay, because not everybody believes somebody else what they say, then go ahead and try it. It's $1.99 Canadian. Who cares? It's worth the $2 investment to try it. Okay, but this has been my experience between the three of them. Top dog, I think, is, in the end, it's going to definitely be the Mastercraft one. Second in place, RIdgid. Not even consideration, goodbye RoK. Okay, that's how I think of it. That's my opinion. And thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and we'll catch you on the next video.